Hey, what's going on, vinyl community? It's Tone. I'm back really quickly to do a video that I don't think it's been done this way. I don't know, you guys will have to tell me. I've been commenting in the vinyl community for 10 years and making videos for almost 5, and I've never seen this done, and I hope it doesn't bother anybody, especially the people whose thread and contest I'm doing. But I'm going to be doing, because of my time restraints, I'm going to be doing a split video. First half is a thread response, and the second half is a contest entry. The thread response belongs to Mr. Chris Profi, and the contest participation entry belongs to Mr. Eddie Perez over at Eddie's Physical Media Talk. Those of you who know Chris Profi, fantastic guy, absolutely great musical knowledge, great record collector, and you know, just a sweetheart of a guy, and a man after my own heart. He's also a great musician. For those of you who know Eddie, he's a little newer to the vinyl community in terms of making videos. Just started a couple months ago or so, finally making videos. He's already up to a little over 100 subscribers, and this was a celebration for his 100th subscriber. However, Eddie's also been in the vinyl community as a commenting participant for years and years. He is also an amazing record collector with a wealth of knowledge. He is into very obscure psych, hard rock, acid rock, and metal. Particularly an expert in Japanese bands. This guy's knowledge of Japanese bands, whether they are older bands or modern bands, is unbelievable. I mean, he is my Japanese rock guru. I'm going to start with Chris Profi's thread response, and that is he wanted us to show our Hipgnosis covers. For those of you who don't know who Hipgnosis is, Hipgnosis was a UK or a British art team or art company that was primarily commissioned for record cover art. Not as well known or recognizable as maybe Roger Dean, but I think at least as or maybe more prominent than Roger Dean in terms of the work that they commissioned. If you look in your collection, you probably have a lot of Hipgnosis covers and you just didn't know it. They did artwork from the late 60s, I believe, is when they started being commissioned, all through the 80s. I'm not too sure about after that. But Chris wanted us to show 5 of our Hipgnosis covers, and so I'm going to do that. So first one I'm going to show you is 1978's on Bearsville. It's Todd Rundgren, Back to the Bars. This is one of probably my top 20 live albums of all time. Fantastic live record from 1978. This is a Hipgnosis cover, and one of many. Todd Rundgren, Back to the Bars. This next one is pretty notable. This is Yes, Going for the One. And this is I think it's 77. I'm pretty sure it's 77 or 78. I think it's 77. But what makes this so notable as a Hipgnosis cover is this is the first album cover by Yes, where they ceased using Roger Dean artwork, at least for their first run of Roger Dean artwork, and they started using Hipgnosis. And I think Hipgnosis did this cover and maybe the next one or two. I know that they did the next one for sure, which is Tormato, but this is the album that they ceased using Roger Dean art and began using Hipgnosis, eventually going back to Roger Dean for at least a few. Actually, they may have gone back to Roger Dean indefinitely, but anyway, nevertheless, very notable record for Hipgnosis. Yes, Going for the One, 1977, I think, on Atlantic. One of my favorite rock bands ever, and one of my favorite albums from them. This is 1970, I think it's 74. This is Wishbone Ash, and this is There's the Rub. I think it's 74. 1974, yep, on MCA. Also a Hipgnosis cover. Wishbone Ash, there's the rub. And next one, Genesis, A Trick of the Tail, 76, 75, 76. Trick of the Tail, Genesis, 1976 on Atlantic. Also, Hipgnosis artwork. And last but not least, one of my, probably my second favorite album from this particular band. This is ELO, Electric Light Orchestra 2. Electric Light Orchestra 2. And this is 73, I think. Yeah, 1973. On, of course, United Artists gatefold. Sorry for the glare. And those are the 5 Hipgnosis covers that I chose. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the thread. Very interesting. I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad I was able to participate. Moving on to Eddie's contest. Eddie is giving away a Morricone soundtrack reissue from RSD, and which is exciting because I am a massive, massive, massive collector of soundtracks, and love soundtracks of all sorts, whether they're source music soundtracks or scores. And what I decided to do, he wanted us to do 5 of our favorite soundtracks, but since I have so many soundtracks, I thought to myself I'd be here all day trying to figure out what are my favorites. So what I just decided to do is show a couple soundtracks that are sort of common-ish, and then 3 that are sort of obscure. The first one is going to be a recent 2016 release, Live at the Hollywood Bowl, from the 8 Days a Week documentary movie by Ron Howard, the Beatles' last live performance at the Hollywood Bowl. Very iconic performance. And if you've seen the documentary, he did a fantastic job, and this is a great soundtrack. I think this is the first time in the history of me making videos in this community online that I've ever shown a Beatles record. And I am not a Beatles completist, but I am a massive Beatles fan. Yeah, but I've never shown a Beatles record. I think this is the very first time, you know, for good reason. I mean, how many Beatles records can you see? But maybe one day I will. I'm very methodical with the way I put my Beatles collection together. I'm not a completist whatsoever, even though I regard the band, you know, way up here. Maybe one day I'll do an expository on my Beatles, but maybe not. Anyway, there's the first one. 1978 on Atlantic Records. If you haven't seen this movie, please see it. It's fantastic. Loosely on the life of Janis Joplin. This is Bette Midler and the Rose. 1978 on Atlantic Records. Soundtrack's phenomenal. Just phenomenal. This is an original issue, first pressing, and it sounds great. The songs are great. Just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. 1978's The Rose. Okay, for a few obscure ones, this one is from a British movie called Otley. Otley's, it's about a town in London, or not in London, in England. And it's a great movie. 1968 on Cold Gems. This is the US press, actually. But Otley was a 1968 British film, sort of a comedic thriller. Loosely comedic. But it's a great, 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 great soundtrack. And this is the US pressing on Cold Gems. Otley soundtrack. The next one would be another British production, but with an American lead male, Warren Beatty, in Kaleidoscope, 1967. And this is on Warner Brothers. Kaleidoscope. Fantastic soundtrack. Again, Warren Beatty and Susanna York co-starring, 1967, Warner Brothers. Beautiful British film. If you haven't seen that, take a look at that. And last but not least, this is an American film, No Way to Treat a Lady. No Way to Treat a Lady. Fantastic, fantastic movie with Rod Steiger, Lee Remick. Lee Remick is in it. I love Lee Remick. Of course, if you've seen The Omen, you've seen Lee Remick. And George Segal. 1967, I believe, on DOT, Paramount. sort of it's what they would call a black comedy. Not, when I say black comedy, I don't mean like black as in, you know, race, but black comedy is a subgenre of film where it's lightly comedic, but the subject matter is kind of dark. No Way to Treat a Lady, 1967, and on Dot Records, Paramount. Now, these more obscure ones, what do they have in common? And why do I love them so much? Because they are all written and composed by one of my favorite film composers of all time, Mr. Stanley Meyer. And Stanley Meyer, I have a lot of Stanley Meyer stuff. That's Stanley Meyer. Stanley Meyer. See it right there. And he is was a brilliant film composer. So that's it, Eddie. I hope that counted. And both you guys, Chris and Eddie, thank you for allowing me to participate. I'm going to leave both of the links to both of their channels. Chris has been around a while. Eddie's brand new. If you're not subscribing to them, please, you know, check out their channel. They're both worthy of your attention. And that's about it. Till next time, Vinyl Community. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for stopping by. All right, peace.